is. It's just me. Just making sure we have a little bit. All right, so how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
Good. Well, during this appointment, we're just going to talk about, kind of can go in your direction, and you can talk about whatever you're feeling. Is it okay that I'm recording?
Yeah.
Just want to make sure if you ever feel uncomfortable, I can go ahead and stop the recording, or I can just erase any part of it that you don't want to be recorded. And yeah, like I said, everything that will be talked in here will remain confident. There'll be confidentiality. There'll be nothing that will be shared. Yeah, so I guess we'll just kind of go ahead and talk about whatever you would like to talk about. Just kind of talking about school, family, anything that comes up on your mind. Okay?
Okay. I guess the main reason why I'm here is I'm just kind of stressed with school. It kind of has to do with my family a little bit, but as far as school goes, school is going well. I'm just kind of in a place where I'm not really sure where I want to go after grad school. I know a lot of my classmates know 100% they want to work with kids or they want to work in a VA, and I don't know exactly where I want to go.
Okay. So is it just a matter of, do you like the program? Is this a field you want to be in, or tell me a little bit more about that?
I definitely want to be in this field. I definitely like it a lot. I know I want to do it. It's just that I don't know exactly what setting I would be comfortable in for the rest of my career or the rest of my life. I don't know what's going to make me happy for that long time.
Mm-hmm. So what type of experiences have you had so far?
I don't feel like I've had that many experiences. I've done a lot of work in the clinic that we all are in as a group, as a class. I really haven't had much experience with children at all. I think I've had maybe 2 appointments with children. So I don't even know, I've always liked children, I know, but I don't know if I want to actually just have children for my career.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I want to do the elderly population, the VA. I just kind of get overwhelmed because I know that a lot of people, like my classmates, know 100% they want to work in that kind of field. Yeah. I'm not sure, really. I feel like I should be making that decision fairly soon, and I don't know what option to go in.
Have you talked to your supervisors about that, though? I mean, do they think that is okay that you don't know, or are you just feeling that way?
I'm just kind of feeling that way. I haven't really talked to anybody about it. I don't really know what to say. I'm trying to kind of figure it out on my own because I know the questions I need to ask. It's just that I don't know what to ask a professor about. I know that I can ask them their opinions, but they might not necessarily know how I feel about those different fields.
Right. So so it sounds like, though, that you do like working with kids and adults, so you kind of have a lot of options open, though.
Yeah.
So that sounds like a good thing.
Yeah. I kind of always felt like I'd like to have a good, children, adults, elderly population. It's more so the location. I don't know if I want to do a private practice, if I want to do research. And then that kind of also brings in the fact, my family. My family doesn't know anything about audiology at all. And I wouldn't say that it's not that they're not supportive, it's just that a lot of times when I bring my concerns to them, they kind of act like I should kind of go the easy route. I don't know if they don't think that I can do it, but every time I suggest something that kind of seems a little bit like if I wanted to do research, they kind of act like you don't want to do that. And I don't know, I feel like I can't really go to them with this kind of thing.
So how does that makes you frustrated or?
Yeah, kind of, I feel like I've always been able to go to my family, like my parents, for any problem that I've had. But now, all of a sudden, I can't really go to them. I have my classmates, I have my professors and supervisors, so that's good. But, I mean, my family has always been my support system, and now they're just like, I can't really have them for this.
And do you think that part of that is just their lack of understanding about the field, or do you think it's more so just that, you know, you're at a different point of your life right now than they don't maybe know so much about it?
I'd probably say both. I know they don't know anything about audiology, and I don't expect them to. But at the same time, I feel like I am kind of growing up a little bit and don't really, like, I feel like I still need their support for a lot of things, but I also feel like I shouldn't need their support. Like, I feel kind of guilty about it because they have their own problems. A lot of times my mom will be the one calling me for advice on things, and it just kind of seems like the roles are reversed a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
and that's probably something that's new to you because we've had so many years of, you know, going to our parents for things, and now that she's coming to you, that's probably, you know, a change for you, something you're not used to.
yeah, I feel like I can't really go to her anymore about questions like this, not just because she doesn't understand, but because I feel like I need to be there for her problems more so than my own problems. I feel like I should be able to figure it out on my own.
Right. And do you think that she's kind of adding to some of the problems? You know, you have your own issues and she's dumping some of her stuff on you as well.
Definitely, yeah. She has a lot of problems with her family, my grandma and her brothers and my uncle. And I'm really close to my family and my grandparents, so I'm getting really stressed out about that. And there'll be times where I'm trying to study for an exam and she'll call me up and just talk about it. And I want to be there for her, but I also don't have time for it, and it sounds really bad. I feel guilty that I don't have time for her.
Yeah.
But
I can understand that you're feeling that way, but I think that, you know, she also knows that you are busy, so if you have to at certain times say, you know, I'm kind of busy right now, can I call you back tomorrow sometime? And so what, do you mind me asking what kind of issues are going on with your mom's side? It sounds like she really likes to come to you for things, and what's going on with that?
Well, my grandma has Alzheimer's and dementia, and, well, it's a whole long backstory, but my mom, after my grandpa passed away, my mom had to take care of my grandma, and my uncle just kind of abandoned them, didn't do anything at all, didn't help out whatsoever, only came up for holidays. He's kind of the type of person who only cares about himself, so he wasn't around. And then my grandma got worse with her Alzheimer's, and my mom wanted her to be in a nursing home because my mom couldn't take care of her anymore. Then my uncle kind of took over. He's kind of all about
the uncle that just got abandoned?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just her and my uncle, so it was just the two. But he comes back and he's only interested in her assets, her money, her house, and stuff like that. My mom only wanted what's best for my grandma, but my uncle wouldn't let her put her into a nursing home. And so my uncle kind of took over for about a year. And finally, my grandma got pretty bad with her Alzheimer's that even my uncle couldn't take care of her anymore. And so now the whole issue is what nursing home to put her in.
Okay.
And she was in a nursing home for only a few months, and it wasn't a good fit for her. It wasn't a place for Alzheimer's patients.
Okay.
It wasn't working out. And there's just been a whole issue with that whole what's best for my grandma. Then my great aunts and great uncles, they're all getting involved. So I have other family members getting involved.
Okay.
So I know it's really stressful for my mom. And I want to be there for her because she's just doing everything that she can for my grandma.
Right. Well,
But
and that's hard having, you know, just in general having a parent, I think, needs so much help, and, you know, and again, same situation for your mom. She had her mom to go to all the time, and, you know, now the roles are kind of reversed again, where she has to be there for her mom, and that's probably pretty hard, puts a lot of strain on the family.
yeah,
And so how's the relationship between your mom and your uncle then?
not good. Not good at all. They were never really. they've always been at odds with each other.
Okay.
It's just kind of been getting worse and worse. It makes me sad. I don't like him at all. I consider, like, I'm completely on my mom's side, 100%. And so is the rest of my family. But I don't know. I don't know what to say because I feel like I can't really say much. I feel like I'm still like the kid in the situation. Every time I kind of give her advice, she doesn't really. I mean, I think she takes it into account, but I don't think she. I think that she thinks that she still knows more than I do.
Right.
So.
Yeah, being the parent and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's tough. So you said that the majority of your family agrees with your mom and kind of sides with your mom. So do you think that eventually they're going to go with the route of something their mom chose? I mean, how does your uncle have an effect on some of that, though?
Well, right now, he has chosen a nursing home that is really far away, and he did that on purpose so that nobody could see her. I've already come to terms that I'm probably never going to see my grandma again, and my mom probably won't see her again either. It's just really hard for everybody in the family, and it's stressful for my mom also because her other family members they're on her side, but they're also involved a lot with the whole situation, kind of giving advice where she might not want it.
Right.
So she's just kind of.
What was the relationship that your mom had with her and that you had with your grandma?
It was a good relationship.
Saw them a lot on the holidays and everything.
Yeah, they were really close. My uncle kind of always got in the way. Like my whole life of knowing him, he's always been the problem. Even just minor issues. So, but I mean, in general, it was a pretty good relationship.
It's tough when you have that one person that kind of can ruin, change the effect and the dynamic of everything. That's tough. So where is your grandma located now?
She's up in Chippewa Falls, in Wisconsin.
Oh gosh, so quite a bit of a distance from here.
Yeah.
What stage of Alzheimer's is that something? I mean, does she recognize you when she sees you, or?
I haven't seen her in over a year, maybe over 2 years.
How does that make you feel? I mean, do you miss her?
I do miss her a lot. I've come to terms with it though. I feel like even though she's still, it sounds weird, but even though she's still alive, I kind of feel like I don't know how to say it, but I feel like I've accepted that.
One partly probably because of her illness, just due to the fact that she might not be the same person she used to be too. Coming just a little bit of on my end of things, I had a grandpa, same thing with dementia, and I kind of did the same thing, so I can kind of relate to where you're coming from with that, and that's tough. That's not easy, especially on top of all your stuff with grad school and everything. And sorry to hear about that. So, who else is in your family? You're so close with your parents and siblings?
Yeah, I have one sister. I feel like I haven't really talked to her very much lately. We have always been really close. And even when I moved away from Madison, where she lives too, we would still text and talk and everything. Lately, just recently, she started a master's degree in graphic design. So she has her job, but she also has school. It's an online program, but it takes up a lot of time. So I've noticed lately that she kind of is short with me, and when I try to talk to her, she doesn't say much. I just haven't been able to talk to her very much lately.
How does that make you feel? I mean, considering you guys had a close relationship before.
I mean, I understand that she's busy, and I've been busy, and there's been times where I wouldn't be able to talk to her because I was really busy with school. But I mean, I kind of miss it. There's a lot of times where, like, I like living on my own. I like being away from my family, kind of. But at the same time, I do miss it a lot. I wish that I could go back up there and visit them more than I actually have been able to lately. But then again, if I was up there, I'd probably just be in her way because she's busy with school and everything.
Does she understand on your end that you're busy as well? Or?
Yeah. I think I kind of probably, like when I moved away, she was just starting a new job, so she kind of had a lot of time on her hands, and I know she was calling me and texting me a lot, and I felt really bad about it, but I would have to say I have to study, I have other stuff going on, and now it's kind of, she might understand it more now that it's happening to her, because she was out of school for a long time, and now she's back into it.
Yeah, might be a little bit of a transition for her.
Mm-hmm.
But you kind of know what that's like, correct? You did the same type of thing?
Yeah.
How was that transition for you?
It was difficult at first, kind of just moving away from everybody that I knew. So like the first few months were probably pretty tough. But after that, I just kind of fit into a routine, so.
You like being in a routine, you like being busy in grad school?
Yes.
That's good.
I mean, I complain about it a lot, but I'd rather be busy than not have anything to do. So.
And that's okay to talk about things. I mean, that's why we're here today too, and to just kind of let things off our shoulders, and sometimes that alone can be a good feeling. So, so kind of going back on the first thing we talked about, do you have a preference on one way? I know you said you're kind of thinking between clinical and research, but is there something that interests you on either end?
I'm not really sure. I always kind of thought I wanted to do research, but then I know that you kind of have to have a PhD for that, and then sometimes I just get really sick of school and I don't want to continue with school. I feel like I could probably do it. If I wanted to do it, I could do it. I don't know exactly what type of research. I don't feel like I know a lot of background of audiology yet, and the different types of things that could be research. I feel like I have ideas, but I don't feel like I have enough information to make a decision yet.
Okay. So what interests you about research, just in general?
Well, first of all, it was because I was doing clinic with patients, and I was kind of thinking, do I really want to have patients every day, for 5 days a week, all day, every day? And I was kind of questioning that, so I thought, well, with research, you don't necessarily have to have that many patients. And plus, I've always been interested in research and writing. I'm really interested in writing. So I kind of wanted to explore that option a little bit. But then I don't know, I'm still kind of wondering if that's the way that I want to go.
Well, it sounds like you have some time left, though, and you have a couple years left to make your decision.
Yeah.
And is research something you can always get into, or is that something you have to kind of decide now?
I think I can always get into it. Even if I went the route of clinic, I could probably do research, I don't know, on the side or in place of patients all day.
Is there a topic of research you like?
I really don't know yet. I don't feel like I know enough about a lot of the topics in audiology, other than the few things that are still questions, like with tinnitus, different things that have an unsolved mystery.
Yeah. Cool. How did you end up getting into the field?
I'm really not sure. I've asked this question a lot. I was kind of always interested in sign language. I took sign language classes in my undergrad, kind of thinking that I would go on for deaf education. It never occurred that I didn't like deaf education. I just kind of started getting more interested in audiology and the science kind of behind it. So that's kind of how it happened.
Okay. So you did the whole undergrad and...
Yeah, the ComDis undergrad at UW-Madison. It was more so intensive for speech therapy. There's only a few of us that were interested in audiology, but we still had the audiology classes, and I did a lot of observations. I did observations with an audiologist who worked with kids,
Okay.
so that was really kind of interesting.
And so that's kind of how you got into the, maybe I like kids, but not sure.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Did you do your whole undergrad at Madison?
I did my first 2 years of my undergrad at UW Whitewater.
Okay.
Then I transferred to Madison.
Talk to me a little bit about that. Were you just, is there a specific reason or?
Well, when I was going to Whitewater, I was kind of thinking about audiology, and I didn't feel like any of my professors knew very much about it. I tried going to a few supervisors, and they just kind of said, no, we just do speech pathology here. There's not an audiology program. I just wasn't too thrilled with my supervisors and my professors. I knew that Madison had a bigger audiology program, and it was closer to home because my parents live in Madison. So I just kind of tried to, I applied, see if I could get in, and I got in. So I transferred.
And that was just the main reason, moving close to home wasn't a factor into that, or was that just a
That was a little bit of a factor. I wasn't too excited about living in the dorms for 2 years. I know I was kind of thinking about getting an apartment the third year, but it was a lot easier just to live at home for a few years.
So you commuted then?
Yeah.
Did you, how was your roommate situation? Was that something that was?
Well, we had a roommate in the dorms, and I had a new roommate every semester. So 4 different roommates.
Gosh, that's not the normal, is it?
No, it's not.
Okay. What happened with that?
It's just kind of a different personalities. We kind of clashed in our personalities. The first one was just we were complete opposites, and once we realized that, she just kind of didn't talk to me at all. She didn't really respect the fact that we had to share a room, and she would bring people over. And it just wasn't fun.
That's tough.
Yeah, and then the second one was okay, but she had a friend that she decided to room with the next time. The third one was nice. We got along really, really well, but she was going to be a senior, and I was going to be a sophomore, so she was going to go into an apartment, and I just stayed in the dorms. And then my last one was okay, but it wasn't the greatest experience with any of them. It's not like we bonded or we're best friends.
So it sounds like that was kind of one of the factors of maybe transferring to, is that you never really had a close friendship that one made you want to keep there. Did you make other friends, or were you just kind of focused on school?
I had a few friends from the floor that I was on. They were okay. They weren't anyone that I probably would have wanted to get an apartment with, but they were good friends for the time that I was there. And I made a few friends in my class, in my ComDis classes.
Do you keep in touch with any of them?
I had for a while, not so much anymore. We just went our separate ways. A lot of them were going into speech pathology, so they had already gotten their masters, and I've been still going to school.
It's tough when you're on such different levels of everyone, of all your other friends. Do you find that too with people from high school? Do you still talk to people from high school?
I don't really talk to anyone from high school anymore. There was one person that I talked to for a long time, and then we just kind of fell out of touch again. So I have friends from that I had from before, from some other events and some other work and stuff, but I don't really keep in touch with anyone from high school or anything like that.
That's tough. Do you wish that you did, or do you think it's just life passes you by?
I think it's life. I don't think that it's anything that I did wrong or anything that anybody else did wrong. It's just they have their own lives, they have their own jobs and families now, and that's okay.
Yeah. do you wish that you were at a different place in your life, or are you happy being in school? And
I'm happy with school. I kind of had questioned that before, if this was the right route, if I wanted to, maybe I should have taken another route where I would be having a job by now. I still feel like I'm 25, I'm ready to be in the real world, have a real job, and I feel like I'm still in school, still making note cards for tests and highlighting things and all that. I feel like I'm kind of past that.
Yeah.
But I mean, then I've also felt like, well, what would my option be now? Like if I didn't want to do this, I'd have to start from scratch. There's not really anything you can do with a Bachelor of Science in ComDis.
Right.
So I couldn't even think of anything else that I would want to do anyway. I like where I'm at right now anyway.
Good. Well, that's good to hear. So it sounds like it's just the general frustration of school is always being there and seeing other people off into, the real world and buying houses and all that. So
Having babies, getting married.
yeah, the list goes on. Is that something that you eventually want to do though, have a family?
Yeah. If the right person comes along. So far that hasn't happened. But that's another thing I feel like can't really meet a whole lot of people when I'm in grad school. My time is always at the clinic. I talk to the same group of people every day, which they're all fine, but there's nowhere else that you can meet people.
Yeah. Have you tried any other options with that, or?
No, I'm not really sure what I want to do with that yet.
Yeah. Would you? I mean, ideally, you would like to meet someone and date, right?
Yeah. I'm not thinking that I'm desperate for anybody. If it's the right person, it's the right person. I don't want to spend my time dating someone if I know that it's not going to work out.
Right. Yeah. No, that's understandable.
Yeah. So it depends. It depends on if I meet somebody that's worth my while, I guess.
Right. Well, and I'm sure it's tough to meet someone. I mean, you, like you said, go to class with your same classmates, and you're busy and devoted. And do you find that when you do meet people that it's can they understand the aspect of grad school? Do you think that's sometimes a factor?
I've been wondering that. A lot of people I meet, they understand what grad school is. I think they think it's just a continuation of school. A lot of people are interested in audiology just because they've never heard of it before, and so I spend time explaining what it is. But a lot of times the people that I have met and talked to, they haven't been to grad school. Maybe they've gotten their bachelor's in something, but they don't seem to understand that my time and my life is pretty much devoted to school still.
Right.
So that's kind of tough that they don't necessarily understand that, and I feel like if I should continue talking to them or not. I mean, they're nice people to talk to, but I don't know if they would be able to understand what I'm doing.
Right. Yeah, I can understand that. Sometimes it's just another roadblock that you have, and do you find that people ever get intimidated of you being in a position of where you're going to have a doctorate degree?
I think so. Some people are. Some guys that I've talked to, they seem like they either go one of two ways. They either think, wow, that's awesome, and they kind of act like I would be able to make a lot of money for them. But then a lot of people are intimidated, like they want to make the money and stuff.
I can see it being kind of an even split there. That's understandable. So what else do you like to do in your free time?
I have a lot of free time in a while.
Yeah, I was going to say, you did say that you don't have too much. But
I do like to go home, up to Madison, visit with my family, visit with some friends that I still have from Madison. Not too long ago, I went to a Badger game.
How was that?
That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. We won. It was
That's a good thing.
Easy win. It was kind of a boring game, but it was nice to meet everybody, or see everybody again.
You don't have any hobbies that you do around here at all?
Other than working out and running, sometimes biking. I like to get out since I'm always sitting and studying. It's nice to like exercise a little bit and get out and do that.
It's understandable. It's cool. Just gonna check the time. Oh, it's exactly 3 minutes.
Okay.
Well, just to wrap up, it was good talking with you. I hope that you can come back and we can keep talking. And it sounds like overall that you just, that you have a lot going on with school, but that you have time to get out and to go work out and see friends, and that's good. And want to make sure that you keep a balance in life and that you don't kill yourself with school, and you maintain that. And it sounds like you're doing that, so that's a really good thing. As far as with all this stuff with your mom and your family, I think that some of that can be fairly normal. Like, I don't want you to think that you're the only person that has to have that, and that's comforting probably to know that other people do struggle with some things with their family and stuff. So we'll keep talking about that, and hopefully that gets better for you. But yeah, I just look forward to our next talk.
All right. Thank you.